3. It's a magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number. Today, I'm joined by the director, co-screenwriter of the upcoming feature that pits 3 legendary slashers against one another in a fight to the death. He is CJ Vecchio, and this is Slasher Sports Cinema.
And I'm here to kill you.
I am Dracula.
You say that I have shed innocent blood. What's blood for, if not for shedding?
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
CJ, my man.
Right on. What's up, Billy?
Hey, same old same, living the life. Living the dream.
Say that again.
Somebody's dream. Somebody's dream. Well, how you living? I know you've got some big dates along coming up on the way, and we want to talk about those.
Yeah.
So, I just watched a lot of your work this weekend, and in one of the shorts, maybe my favorite one, you established early on the story is about a little girl who's being raised by a single mom. Dad, per the mom, he's kind of a deadbeat, so the little girl needs some kind of male father figure in her life. So tell me about BL.
BL was my first time directing. So it was all done during COVID. COVID shut everybody down. I own a limousine company here in Chicago, so we were shut down for about a good 6-7 months. And I always wanted to write. I went to took a couple college courses when I was a young whippersnapper back in the day, and that literally wasn't paid the bills. So dropped that for a couple decades, and I had an opportunity. My father-in-law, he is an author, Danny Broderick. He wrote Defending a Monster, the John Wayne Gacy bestseller. So he's always, like, hey, get writing. And I got writing and whipped out the script of BL during COVID. So I posted on a few websites. There's a great website for you writers out there, Simply Scripts. They have a great board and bulletin board, and you just send them the scripts, and other writers critique them for free, give you tips. And I did that with the script of BL on several other websites along with that one, and it just kind of took off and got really popular. I was approached by a couple of producers and almost got screwed by one of them. One of them tried scamming me. So and like I said, Danny Broderick is an attorney. So when he found out I'm an attorney in LA, it kind of backfired. So I was like, you know what? Let's, I got some COVID money. I got my stimmy check. Let's do it. I always wanted to direct, and let's get her done. So went on Craigslist and a couple websites and got a crew going, and we whipped it out in a day. Basically, it's about a day and a half. We filmed that short, and then entered it in some film festivals, and it just went nuclear in film festivals and won a bunch of awards. So super excited about BL.
In the last year, maybe a little bit less than a year, I've really started to take in and embrace the short film. And it's a great tool for you directors, you screenwriters. But I think for me personally, I really like the short film because it's easily digestible. It's the snack between lunch and dinner. And I really think movie theaters ought to maybe bring in some short films as opening acts to your features.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already going out of business. We lost a lot of Regal cinemas,
Yeah.
so I mean, why the hell not? I mean, back in the day, that used to be the thing, right? If any of you '80s kids remember watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the Baby Herman scene could be kind of seen as that, that short film ahead of the feature, and I really do think it should be embraced a lot more, especially now with the kids,
Yeah.
and their lack of attention. They can't sit through a 90-minute film without scrolling through Instagram in the theater. So give them something that they can chew on for a short amount of time. And there have been some bangers over the last year.
Oh.
I keep bringing up the movie Piggy, and Piggy originated from a short film called Cerdita, which is
I didn't
basically
know
the
that.
same word in Spanish. Basically, your cold open in Piggy, which is the girl going to the pool, getting ridiculed by the girls, and then having to run away without her clothes, runs into what she runs into. That was basically the short film Cerdita. And then they just add on to it after that, a la When a Stranger Calls, so they did a really good job with that. And that is, one of the big reasons that I push short films on my friends. So look, man, I know you don't have time to watch everything I'm giving you, so I'm giving you smaller things. I'm going to give you the short film, the ones I like. Patrick Ray put out some bangers, and I hope he keeps continuing to do that. But with you, Vecchio, it might have been intentional, it might not, but I got swerved watching BL. I thought this was going to be like an evil or killer doll flick. I went in cold, didn't know anything about it. I thought it was going to be an evil doll flick. Doll.
Creepy. There is a creepy ass doll in there, and we
listen. Yeah, the main character, I guess, she has this doll, and that thing looks hideous. Where'd you get that damn thing?
I wanted this evil looking doll. I went on Facebook Marketplace, and there's this lady I'm in Chicago, so she was in Wisconsin, and I said, I need this doll, and that's where she shipped it to me. It is like the creepiest doll. It's in a closet, locked in the closet. Yeah. So I had it on top in my living room. I have like a vending machine. It's a Bud Light vending machine, and I had that doll sitting on top of that vending machine. And every time I had a party, people would be like, "Damn, that doll's staring at me. That doll's because it has pink eyes, right?" And I got to a point where I'm sitting here by myself all alone. And I'm like, ooh, that thing is creepy. So I put it in the closet, locked the door, but I still have it. So I brought it to a couple film festivals when we were touring, and it was a pretty popular, everybody kind of dug the doll and took pictures of the doll. But yeah, that was a little bit of a twist there.
Yeah. And like I said, I didn't know if it was intentional or not, but it was a good seed planted, because I was looking for some creepiness out of the doll. Maybe because I just recently watched Megan again. I wanted to give it a second shot. The PG-13 horror is something that, I'm not like those who maybe see the PG-13 rating and automatically downgrade it in quality. There are a few redeeming things that I found in that film. And like, I don't know, your film reminded me a lot of Wishmaster. A little bit, 97 film from Robert Kurtzman, where basically a djinn, did I even say that right? A djinn? A djinn. He basically a djinn. He grants wishes, but they're not really what you wished for. He's gonna spin your words, twist your thoughts, and deliver on that wish with kind of a demented Uno reverse card that you just can't recover from. You remember Wishmaster?
Yeah. I saw it back in the day, Blockbuster Video in the basement. I remember doing Wishmaster.
Listen, the film came out a lot later than I thought it did. I was thinking this was one of those late 80s flicks. It was 97.
Really? All right.
97.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
Flick too.
Yeah, it fits the vibe of an 80s flick. It's got some of the 80s flick guys. Aside from Tammy Lauren, the final girl, we had a low-key strong horror cast, man. Bobby England, first of all, Robert Englund's in something, you watch it and you shut up. And then you got Ted Raimi. Ted Raimi's he's the small part king, I guess. when it comes to horror. You even had the killer. Spoiler alert if you've never seen the movie Intruder, but it had the killer from Intruder, Dan Hicks.
Nice.
Which is one of my underrated horror flicks from the 80s. Anybody ask me about, hey, what should I watch? You watch Intruders, what you do. Grocery store horror at its best.
Nice.
And funny thing about that was they give away the killer on the movie poster. It's like there's nobody else in the film dressed like this guy, and the evil guy on the poster. I mean, he's just wearing that denim shirt. Intruder, man, listen, nothing brings me more joy than to introduce somebody to maybe an obscure flick that they hadn't seen before. So if you don't come away with anything else today, come away with Intruder, my man. And it's actually on Tubi, I believe.
I'll watch it tonight.
If you queue it up, I'll queue it up.
Nice.
That's all I'll say. All right. But yeah, I digress. BL. Like, I don't know. What the hell is a gene anyway? And
Genie?
A Jinn, D-J-I-N-N. There's actually a movie called Jinn. He's kind of like a devilish genie kind of a situation. But like films like this are like, why when a kid tells me they have an imaginary friend, like my first tendency is to find out how full of shit that kid is.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go to their school. I'll find their grades. I don't give a damn. Yeah. I will get the lowdown on what kind of playground lies they're telling. If they come fully vetted, if this kid comes fully vetted from their friends and teachers, and they're still telling me about an imaginary friend, I'll burn their house down.
You don't know what that imaginary friend's going to do. That's the thing.
Exactly. And, there was a string of house fires in my hometown in 2011 that I was not involved in. I was not involved in it. But tell me about the cast of BL. You had a lovely little lady who carried the doll around. What is she all about?
Yeah, Kate Rio. So she is. When I was doing my research on directing, I watched every YouTube video. YouTube is, there's paid courses you could do, and I've done a couple of those master classes, and but YouTube is the best, right? So sure. The big thing I came away was working with kids are difficult, right? Okay. I'm like, ooh, you gotta, and I've never worked with kids. I mean, I've worked, being a business owner, I've worked with, plenty of adults, and, a lot of times they can act like kids too, so I just did some research on directing kids. And the best thing that came away with it was we had a little bit of a practice session. Jacob Bukowski was the DP on that. So him and I, Kate, the mom showed up, and we just did a practice run. Okay. And just did a rehearsal. And and I noticed things about Kate, which is just, that kid is just piss and vinegar, right? She is a firecracker. I mean, and she loves stuffed animals. And the room, we filmed that at my house, right? So we used the daughter's room, which was my daughter's room. She's off, in college and all that. So, the room was still set up the way she had it when she was younger. So there was tons of stuffed animals, right? Which was the big distraction. So, because Kate loves all the stuffed animals. So I'm like, we got to get rid of these stuffed animals because she's going to be going through boxes and all that. So we kind of just toned it down the room a little bit. So there was no distractions. So yeah, by the time we came the day to shoot, I mean, she knew her lines. She was perfect. Everybody, we banged out those scenes. I mean, it was probably 1 or 2 takes each. And that was it. I mean, they knew the lines coming in, and they just nailed it. So yeah, and she did awesome. And it was great because it was her first acting role. So after that, she got a part on, I think it was Chicago Fire, I want to say, or one of the Chicago Med.
What the hell you say? Are you serious?
Yeah. So she was on an episode of that. I did want her to be in The Evil 3 because there is a little girl in there, but they were kind of they don't like the horror genre. So she's like, I don't know if she wants to we want her to do horror again. So I got that. So, But no, she was a little firecracker. And what was cool was in Indianapolis, there's a film festival called PopCon. It's a weekend long film festival, and it's horror, science fiction, anime, and all that stuff. And it's just awesome. And before this, I never went to any conventions. I mean, I'm a comic book guy, so I never went to Comic-Con and all that. So it was pretty fun while we are doing the tour. And she actually went down there. Her family went down there. So she was on the red carpet with me, did a Q&A after the film, and it was just super cool. And she lit up, and people were like taking pictures with her. So it was awesome. But Kate Rio, she's going to be a force to reckon with, I think, in the future. And you'll be hearing her name, I think, a lot more.
You know, there's a surge of child actors who come up and are just blowing people away. You can take your Millie Bobby Browns, your Finn Wolfhards from It. You can take any of the names from the Stranger Things kids. But there's a little girl who is just in the film The Black Phone, and she's the sister of the kid that got kidnapped.
Yeah.
Well, she just happens to be a sibling of the little girl in Megan.
Ooh,
but
I didn't know that.
That's a fact, and I think those two little ladies are just phenomenal, especially, and I don't want to down talk either one of them, but the one from The Black Phone, there were scenes that she did where I was just blown away. The scene where she's basically getting the whooping from Dad for getting the fuzz called on him.
Great movie.
If I didn't know any better, I would think what was his name? The director from Cannibal Holocaust, the one who just passed away, Ruggiero. He's known for realism. I figured they hired him or something because I thought they were beating that girl's ass. She had me convinced. She had me completely convinced. And seeing these actors really surge through has got to be just a paradigm of hope for someone like your actress. And hats off for pulling that off, working with her, and now she's on to like bigger, better, greater things.
Yeah, hope you don't forget about me. Remember me, Kate. Remember me.
Remember. I said your name too.
Yeah. Remember Billy.
Just tell people I know you or something. Just give me just a little bit of cred here.
But yeah, that was a fun shoot. And like I said, it was, it was just. I was an actor before, so I was on a couple sets. And the thing about acting, it's and even being behind the scenes, it's the hurry up and wait. There's a lot of waiting. I mean,
absolutely.
A 1 minute scene could take 4 hours to set up. And when I was acting, I wasn't in sitting down. I was always with the crew, so I was behind the director. I befriended directors, and I was just. They needed help. I helped them, but the main thing was just to soak in the knowledge. So it wasn't my first time. It was my first time directing, but I kind of expected and knew what, how to do it. So that was a big advantage I had. But it was just, and plus being in my house, it was easy. It was comforting. So.
Well, yeah, you need all the comfort in the world when you got a doll floating around like that.
Yeah, evil doll.
But yeah, hey, I don't want to give any spoilers because I want people to see this film. As a matter of fact, the film will be, or the link to the film will be in the episode description for this episode, along with a lot of other links that are gonna get you onto the Vecchio train. And that's where we want you to be. That is where we want you to be. But I noticed something in The Attic. Okay, well, that was the other film that I watched, and what I noted was how quickly I became interested in the story without there being a cheap angle. It's something as small as "quote unquote" grandma stated in her will she wanted everything in the attic burned. And there are these old photos with one of the faces scratched out. Like that's within the first minute of the short film, and like basically.
I got a dog, by the way. She's gonna start barking pretty soon. But
is that what that was?
Yeah. There's coyotes.
Listen. This is a pet friendly podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a guest whose grandma sounded worse than that, so we're good. We are good. No, but within the first minute, we had the photos, the quote, and that just kind of set the tone for me. You've established the rules now that my suspense is leaning toward what's Grandma got hiding in the attic,
Yeah, what's up there? What does
right?
she want burned?
What she want to burn and why? But something that small really did it for me. Like you might tell the listening audience about Making the Attic, because this is another one that I really enjoyed.
Well, the making of the attic is really, it's kind of unique. When I was getting into BL, like I said, I hooked up with some crew, and they referred me to this club. I want to say a club, a community type of filmmakers, right?
Sure.
Filmmakers cast, and it's called Film Diner now. It was called Indie DB Studios. So basically, what it is for creators, they charge a monthly fee. I think it was like $50 a month, and you could go in and use the free equipment. They have a studio space free, which is great because film equipment in Chicago. I mean, I put a bunch of equipment in my car. I have a 4-door car, and it cost me like $800 a day. It's insane. The film rentals, and they offered all this stuff. So I became a member right when I started filming BL, and they offer contests, right? So I think if whoever writes a script about an attic, because we had an attic set built, and the theme's the attic, and I wrote it and I won, and we had it was free, so all the community came in, all the filmmakers, actors. I mean, we had about 50 people on set, and it was all volunteer, and we banged that out in probably 5 hours. So I'm like, well, listen, I want to edit that, I want to edit it. So I wrote the story and I edited it. And it was just amazing just to get the people in Chicago, the talented people in Chicago, just all together one night, and we just worked on it, and it came out awesome.
That it did. You used one of my buzzwords, and it's community. Okay. And I just want to, put out this PSA that being part of a community is not just being a person within a group of other people. Community is taking care of those like-minded individuals, and nothing exemplifies that quite like the story you just told me. Everybody jumped in, banged it out, and mission accomplished. I mean, it could be something as small as your online horror community. Put a damn spoiler alert on your posts, that take care of the community who has not seen the film yet, because you've got filmmakers who are busting their ass every day, and they're putting out really good stuff like you're doing. And when I tell you that I enjoyed these two films, Vecchio, I enjoyed these two films, and I think going forward there are things for that, because I say time and time again how short film has so many uses and options. Like, one, you can use them as a proof of concept for possible future backers to turn into a feature or anthology. It could be used to fill a resume. Also, an understated utility is the ability to refine your skills in one or more of the learning thing, man. It's like you can't learn everything overnight, and you have to get your hands dirty, and sometimes you got to put out an imperfect product and rewatch it a few times, because I mean, just think about the skills that you probably refined in all facets of filmmaking just in these two short films. With 20 minutes worth of film, and you have now invaluable experience doing what you're doing now. So what did you improve upon, if you can think of anything, while making the attic? And
I mean, and actually after that we did The Evil's Revenge, which we just signed a distribution deal with Short TV. But what I learned is always have a backup plan, because things are always going to go wrong, right? If it's not the weather, it's equipment, it's gear, it's people. Always have a plan B and a plan C laid out, because it doesn't matter if it's a short film or if it's a feature, something's gonna go wrong. And
Right.
and it has on all of my films. Something's always gone wrong, and it's just boom. You know, I don't have and you don't have an hour to think about it, right? Because it's money. Every minute costs money. And
You're flying by night.
Oh yeah. So I've had stuff went down. Boom. I had a backup plan. I'm a backup plan. So always, if you can think of something that's going to go wrong, it will, guaranteed, and just be ready for it. So that is something. And I was always like that, even my other businesses and stuff like that. I always have a backup plan, so I'm not stressed out or worried. And my girlfriend always says, she's just a pessimist, right? You always think things are going to go bad. I go, yeah, because when they go great, it's a celebration. So yeah. So I mean and that's the main thing. And then just listen, be open-minded, right? If somebody has a great idea, so many of the crew members say, hey, we did it this way, or I think we have an idea. Or actors, hey, I think maybe if I say it, let's do it. It's a team effort. And if it's going to make the film better, I'm no Steven Spielberg or any of those type of if we can make it better, I don't care. Hey, if it sounds great, let's do it. So every movie I've done, every short film it was a little. I always took input from the crew, cast, and everything like that, and it adds to it.
Everybody's coming from a background that is unique to them. Nobody has walked every single step of their life but them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a sound guy on set who happens to be, your lead character, like pick his brain about sound, right? You get you have somebody who's worked I don't know, who worked in the Foley. If you get one of those guys, pick his brain. How can we make this better? Like, what have you seen in the past? Everything has value. But you brought up something. The Evil's Revenge is under contract with someone.
Shorts TV. It's owned by AMC.
AMC. So it's not entirely understood by the viewing public how these streaming deals work. Once your film's finished, like what's step one to getting it out there?
Well, I mean, enter in film festivals. So a lot of film festivals out there, they'll tell you if you win, Shorts TV will come and talk to you. You'll be approached by other distributors. And then the main thing is just to get it out, get the word out, promote it, do podcasts like this, social media. You'll be approached, and you gotta be careful who approaches you. You gotta do your due diligence, okay? And even hiring cast and crew, vet everybody, do your due diligence. I was looking at this. I was looking at this makeup person, and didn't hire this person because they're a little too pricey. And I saw something they did a few years ago, and I'm like, thank God I didn't hire this person because it was just drama mess, hot mess. So vet everybody, but also like I said, getting if you get approached by distributors, just vet and make sure make sure everything's on the up and up, because there are I've heard a lot of horror stories going on. The great thing about Shorts TV is they'll pay you up front. So it's not a lot, I mean, it's not going to, hit the budget, but it's something. I've heard horror stories where people sign their movie away for a 4-year deal and they don't get nothing, like $5. That's it. So, yeah, you just got to be careful when, if you have an attorney. Thank God I have an attorney, that does stuff for free, but, just make sure you read everything and just vet. If a distributor comes up to you and, is kissing your ass and you're the best and blah, 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 see what other type of movies that they've distributed. And it'll kind of tell you. And to reach out to those directors and filmmakers of those movies. And, hey, can you tell me something about these guys? Oh, I never got a paycheck, or they're awesome. They're great. So it's a lot of these, and it might take 6-7 months even to get any money from these guys, because, it's based on views and likes and minutes. So that's a big thing. It's kind of like SEO work. You're going to hire someone to do SEO for your website, and they always tell you, well, hey, we'll charge you $600 a month, but it might take 6-7 months to get any results. So it's kind of, you got to wait. So yeah, just
might get results.
Yeah. If you like them,
you might get results.
Yeah.
Shout out to Iron Man in Training for checking in. Do you know Iron Man in Training?
No,
Me neither. Oh, hey, then
friend me.
new listener, new viewer.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man in Training. Check out CJ Vecchio if you haven't already. And thank you very much for checking in. We do appreciate you. I speak for CJ on that one as well. Now, listen, CJ, when I was in the Navy, we had a crew of 9 guys who were in charge of cleaning the restrooms. Okay, we called ourselves a Nasty 9.
Nice.
All right, and then later on, Tarantino dropped the Hateful Eight, and then if you go back, you had the Magnificent Seven with McQueen and all those guys, and then later on Denzel, and then Adam Sandler put out the Ridiculous Six, and who could forget Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five? March Madness is coming up, and that's the Final Four. But we're here to talk about the Evil Three.
Ooh, I like
You like that long ass segue? Did you? Thank you.
Best segue ever.
Man, I sat there and I thought about it. How can I do this? And that's how I did it. So
Best segue.
All right. So I don't know if that's the big payoff of the day or what. But give me the rundown on the Evil Three. What are we looking forward to?
Yeah, I wanted to do a feature right after my 3 shorts, and it costs money. It costs money to make these things. So I'm like, well, I'm a fan of all 3 of them. So it's basically Jason, Michael Myers, and Leatherface. And we put them together in a fan film, and shit hits the fan. So, at the end, it's not a versus movie. It's just basically they're all set in the Smiths Grove Sanitarium. Smiths Groves is closed due to budget cuts in the good old state of Illinois, and they're transported to a county jail temporarily. And let's just say things don't go smooth. The plans don't go well. And there's a little incident, and they escape and terrorize a nice little community. And
the community probably deserves it.
Hayden'sfield. They're back in Hayden'sfield.
Yeah, so just think, they're probably fornicating. They're probably doing things they're not supposed to do. In the meta, that is the whole film.
Couldn't. Yeah. So it's a fan film. It's a full feature fan film. We launched at Indiegogo. I'm going to say back in July. So it was my first Indiegogo, and we hit our target. It was 15,000. Right now we're at 23,000, and we filmed it in October. So we wrapped. We do have a little scene we have to film, and we have, so we have a little scene we have to film, and but we're in post production on a second edit, and it's going pretty smooth. I gotta say, it's going pretty smooth. But our Indiegogo is still up, and if you go to Indiegogo, just do a search for The Evil 3, and you'll find us, and we got some awesome perks on there.
Shout out to Gabriela Marins, my good friend down in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Nice. To be international.
So, muito obrigado pela torcida. And then we've got Understanding Biz 421 says, how scary will Evil 3 be? Will this be as good as The Attic? Great stuff, guys.
Pretty scary, pretty gory. We had Rob Kabowski. He's a special effects artist, legend. This guy's legend. I posted up some stuff on our Indiegogo. So we flew him in from Arizona to do the special effects. We had, it's pretty bloody, and like I say, it's pretty gory. So there's some. I'm a little worried. There you go, Beard Crew.
That's my tag team partner Christian Rao.
Nice.
Here at Slasher Sports. Make sure you tune into the OK Baseball podcast.
Yeah,
baseball's coming up, and we cannot wait to get after it, Vecchio. I'm here to tell you right now.
Nice.
Baseball season is where we go, just absolutely bonkers. Okay, I mean, he's been covering college sports over on Slasher U, and they do a fantastic job with Steve Feck. He's Sean Doyle on the OK Baseball podcast. I got to shout out Suki Suburbia on Suki's Honeydew Project as well. But yeah, Beard Gang Unite. Listen, people.
Nice.
if you have a boyfriend who doesn't have a beard, you have a girlfriend. Okay. So listen, we got to talk about our on-screen talent. I'm a Friday the 13th guy, Vecchio.
Nice,
So
Jason.
tell me who's wearing the hockey mask.
You know what? We have the thing, one of the perks is, and we would hire anybody could wear the hockey mask, but we have he's an Illinois Chicago boy, Nick. I'm going to bastardize his name, Oplik. So he is Jason in this movie, and my main thing was I need someone that's 6'4". I need someone big. And I put the search out, and we found him, and he did an awesome job. We just put this guy in this. He was great. He was a champ on set. He got a workout. When you're wearing that mask and running around the woods and fighting and swinging the machetes, it's a little bit of a workout. So yeah, so he
makes it a little hard to breathe, I bet.
Yes, yeah. Well, we had two masks. We had a full face mask, and then we had like a hood. So the hood was just basically a cutout part. I don't have it with me, but it's just basically a cutout part. So that's easier to breathe. But when he didn't have his hockey mask on,
sure,
he had the full blown mask covering his face, and that was pretty. And we filmed a scene of a jailhouse in Crown Point, Indiana. It was a jailhouse that Dillinger was escaped from, and Johnny Depp filmed there. So we had to film some scenes in there of the prison, and it was kind of, my thing is safety, right? So, the poor guy couldn't barely see, and he's walking down this hallway with all these obstacles, and and going down the stairs, and that was my biggest fear. Like, please God, don't trip. Please God, don't trip. But yeah, he was a trooper doing with that, being Jason. And then Michael Myers, we have the TikTok. The guy is the Michael Myers of TikTok. So he is he's on Instagram, TikTok, everything. So he's got 2 million. Last I checked, he's probably 2.5 million followers on TikTok. So he's an Illinois boy.
I'm gonna have to find this. If you can hit me with the account name, please.
Yeah, it's on the Indiegogo. So Michael Myers of TikTok, and this kid, he's a kid. He's only 21 years old, and this kid he does a lot of dance, and is Michael Myers, and this kid could dance, one of the best dancers, nicest, sweetest kids ever. And he's awesome. This guy he lives, breathes, drink Michael Myers. And when they did the latest Michael Myers was at End or whatever, they flew him out to LA. So he walked the red carpet for the premiere, and it's pretty amazing. He was doing some videos, but great kid. So he was Michael Myers for that.
Boom.
Yeah.
Gabriella's mentioning, let your beard grow, Billy. Listen, what I'm looking for, CJ Vecchio's already found. I may as well just stay in my lane and keep it right here where it is. That's all I can do. So, okay, last one.
Leatherface.
We got Leatherface. So who's making the trip from Texas to Haddonfield?
Yeah, so that was another local Chicago boy, Christopher Kohler. I found him, I did the search, and he tagged me. He's like, "Hey, I want to play this role. I'm meant for it." He was perfect. So he had the long hair, he had the beard, and that's the way I wanted, my Bubba to look like, and straight out of prison, and he nailed it. And the funny thing is, when we were at that prison, right, in Crown Point, Indiana, there's so much stories. I mean, you see, these guys were in there in the 40s and 30s, and these jail cells were bigger, like probably 2 feet by 2 feet. And there was a bed in one of the cells, right?
Right.
And I guess one of the inmates committed suicide on his bed. And the thing is that everybody's saying that room's haunted. So that was one of the scenes where he had to sit in that bed. And he was afraid of getting possessed. So I haven't talked to him in a while. I got to check to make sure he's not possessed still. But yeah, so, but he is another great actor. He's in tons of movies. He plays the bad guy. in every movie. But he looks like a bad guy. But he's like probably the nicest guy, sweetest guy around. So he was my my Leatherface, and my makeup guy, Doc Rodriguez. He's an Indiana boy. This guy made the Michael Myers, not the Michael Myers. He made the Leatherface mask, and it was just perfect. I mean, one of the actresses in the movie, Heather Harlow, she came up. He did a life cast of her face, and it's basically based off of her face because, spoiler alert, Bubba peels it off her. So, and it looks amazing, gory, perfect. And I just told him to order me a new mask just to have. I might be selling these masks, but I was kind of disappointed of the Netflix version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Face. I was kind of disappointed in that, so I just wanted to outdo it. And we
not the film in general, just the mask.
The mask. I love, like I said, there's haters and people hate it, people love it, right? I loved it. I've seen it about 20, 30, 40 times. So
I'm with you. I actually did like it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
You're not going to find me gatekeeping anything.
No, I just wasn't a fan of the mask. I wasn't a fan of the mask. Yeah. But yeah, it's same thing with Friday the 13th, 2009. People loved it or hate it. I loved it. I think that's one of the best Friday the 13th movies. And I met the director, Marcus Nespool, a couple months ago. So him and I just struck up a friendship, talked to him, picked his brain, one of the greatest guys. So it was just, and he actually directed the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, yeah, and it's a 20th anniversary of that. So, and speaking of which, we have Brett Wagner. He's the Lost Leatherface. He was in the Kemper kill of the 2003. So he's in the Evil 3. We got him. So he plays. He doesn't play Leatherface. He has his own character in the movie. So I was lucky enough to get him. Flew him in from LA and do a weekend worth of shooting. It's super exciting, and him and I are like besties right now. I'm actually, he called, it's great when I'm talking to Marcus Nespool, and all of a sudden Brett calls me. He likes the Facebook video live, whatever the hell you call it. These kids call it. So I get, boop, there's Brett. Like, hey, I'm with Marcus. It's the coolest thing in the world.
I love that for you, man. I really do. I've got a fan film I need to tell you about. Have you seen, first of all, are you aware of a guy named Steve Merlo?
Yes. Good friends.
Really? Okay. Well, I had him on. I was going to tell you about the Sawyer Massacre, but you already know. So go on YouTube and find the Sawyer Massacre, guys.
Yes, that's a great, and I love the mask. I love the mask he used, and there's a little story behind him, and which I didn't know. But if you watch the movie a couple times, you'll figure it out. But no, Steve's, he when I first started, I reached out to a bunch of directors. He just picked their brains, and he's one of them. And like I said, I think we texted each other this afternoon. So, but he's another one I'm in close contact with.
I'm a big fan of Steve Merlo.
Mm-hmm. Nice guy.
He came onto the podcast before I was even doing video. And he was such a gentleman. Gave me about an hour of his time, if not more. One of my favorite episodes of Slasher Sports Cinema. And I don't even think we were calling it Slasher Sports Cinema at the time. I think it was some schmucky name like The Graveyard, because my name's Billy Graves, and awesome, which is a great, by the way. It's an awesome name to have as a horror guy, but like The Graveyard, come on, man, stop being a schmuck, Billy.
My worst regrets was when I first started getting into this. I always thought, I need a cool name. Chris Gore's taken, right? And when I signed up for IMDb, I just used my name, and I was like, no, because you're pronouncing Vecchio perfect, but a lot of these people are like Vuccio, Vicky. I'm like, so I kind of regret, like, Billy Graves, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, when I go south of the border, Billy Graves is infamous. Nice. So listen, man, it's really important for me to get names correct on this show.
I'm the worst.
Well, I've had like some folks from Germany, and like shout out to my guy Francisco Tesaro and his cast of his Friday the 13th fan film. actually Fan Films now, and a third is coming on the way. But man, Susan Viens, no, Shauna Viens had told me how to say her last name. And then I nailed it.
Nice.
Totally nailed it. And then Susan Keel, no, I fucked it up again. Susan Kyle comes on to the podcast, tells me 5 seconds before I remove her from the stream to do the cold open. And I'll be damned if I don't get to that part and I say Susan Keel. And then I can see like she's grayed out at the bottom of my screen before I bring her into the studio, and I can just see her like shake her head. And I was like, God damn it.
Me.
Yeah, it's the worst.
That's me.
I mean well, but damn it, I can never nail it.
Like I said, Kate Rio's easy. You know, I'm sure Chrissy, like, you pronounce my last name wrong. I always call him Kohler. I don't know. I shouldn't be like that because I'm the one that's always like, ooh, they're gonna get my last name wrong.
Yeah, that's an asshole thing of you to do. It's Vecchio, not Vecchio.
Mm-hmm.
Asshole.
I'm the worst.
But listen, as far as the Evil Three, we had Joe Riley, Brett Latta, and yourself as co-writers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. And of course you're directing. Now this was the original plan, but somewhere along the way, Zach Akers came along, did he not?
Yeah, him and I, great. I get so many people sending me scripts, right?
Sure.
And I can't even read a greeting card because my girlfriend laughs, too many words. And she's like, get these scripts. And I sat down and I read his. He sent me, he has Texas Chainsaw Massacre 97. He sent me one of his scripts. And I read it and I was like, I couldn't put it down. So I'm like, dude, I need you to help me out, right? Let's co-write this. Him and I hooked up, and we're still writing scripts together. So so far we have 4 scripts in the pipeline. He is currently, basically we do tag team. He throws a script at me, I throw my script at him. He writes it, I write. We go back and forth, and we just toss them back and forth. So he's writing one of my scripts, helping out. Called Cuba Road. It's a famous road up here in Illinois. It's one of the urban legends, phantom cars, disappearing houses, really creepy road. So he's working on, helping me out on that. I was writing probably 7 pages in, adding to one of his scripts right now. So As soon as Evil 3 comes out, we're going to get all these scripts, and our main goal is to either make them or sell them. So, and that's it. But that kid could write. And I just said, just follow my lead, man. Let's write team up, and let's see what we can do. So so he's a great kid.
Familiarity, man. It makes.
He's a little antsy-pantsy though. He needs to calm down a little.
Yeah, you need to calm
Did you read this? I go, bro, I got I'm busy, man. So, but no, he's a great kid.
Calm your ass, Zach.
Yeah, chill down, bro. Chill down. I'll take it.
Just you're at an 11. Need you at about a 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Need
you at about a 7.
Yeah,
Are there any perks left for the Indiegogo backers?
Yeah, I mean, we have, right now, one of the main perks is, the beginning of the film. So the beginning of the film is a Zoom court with Bubba Sawyer. That's the sentencing. So we're still looking for actors to play victims of family. My version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the Netflix version. So it's basically he gets caught right after, Harlow goes to jail, and it's his sentencing. So the people that were slaughtered in that bus, which was such a great kill, right? Massacre. The family members are in this Zoom call during the sentencing. So we have, I think so far, we have 8 people right now. So that's one of the perks. So you get, IMDb credit. You'll be in the beginning of the movie. Your name's going to be at the end of the movie. So, we have that perk still available. We're going to do a pay-per-view. And the thing with Steve Merlo, when he launched his Sawyer Massacre on YouTube, I guess there's trolls out there. Somebody reported his movie to YouTube. So I think they put up a block, or they did something where they can't find it. I mean, you have to do a search for Sawyer Massacre. It just won't come up if you do a horror fan film search. So I'm a little worried about that because The Evil 3 is pretty gory, right? There's some major kill scenes. So I'm a little worried about that. We might come up with 2 versions, an unrated version and not like a Megan unrated version, because I saw the Megan unrated version. My buddy watched both and he says he couldn't even tell the difference. I think the unrated version, there's a scene where Megan pulls the kid's ear. I don't know if that's it, but he says he couldn't tell the difference. So we might come up, it all depends. We're on a second edit right now. We're in post. And we might come up with 2 versions, like a rated R version for YouTube, and then we're going to do an unrated version for Blu-ray. We're thinking of maybe doing a pay-per-view with the unrated version, along with all the behind-the-scenes footage, which we're recording. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of perks. Just because we're finished filming. Assistant executive producer perk. That's a big one right there. So you could be an executive producer, which is it's $100, but you get a lot of stuff, and then you get a plaque, which was a cool thing. We did that. We launched that during Christmas, and that was a big hit. So people would get it for Christmas gifts. So that was a big hit. But no, there's still perks available. We're still letting it go. Like I said, we're still, these films cost money. People are like, oh, I think we're at 23,000. We're still, I got loans out. Let's put it that way. So, but like I said, the main stepping stone, and the thing with fan films, and people, your audience, I don't know if they know, people are like, you can't make a film about Friday the 13th. Well, you know what? We're not making any money off it though, right?
Right.
So I mean, we can't distribute it on Tubi. We can't just distribute it elsewhere. It's basically a YouTube. Any money that comes in goes towards the the help cover the costs, stuff like that. So it's So I mean, it's my thing was a stepping stone till the next project, the next feature. So which we're already gearing up. We're filming. Probably going to start filming in summertime, summer for that.
Well, these post-production costs that you're referring to, it's going to go to editing, color grading and correction, sound design, Foley, music, reshoots. So, I mean, it's not like there's not somewhere for the funds to go.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, you've got a plan, stick to it, you build it, they'll come, you've built it. There's a little bit more building to go, and I'm really looking forward
we're on
to
a second edit right now, and the thing, they say about editing, you're going to hate your first film. Like BL, my first edit, like I was crying. I was like, this movie sucks. I hate it, and all my director friends like, dude, you're always going to hate your first cut. I watched the first cut of Evil 3, and I'm like, I don't hate it. I mean, it's so that's a good sign. So I'm on the second edit right now. And I'm doing behind the scenes videos of me editing, which I think are going to turn out pretty cool. I mean, we did behind the scenes of filming. We filmed at this huge mansion in town here, 10 acres, and a lot of behind the scene footage of that. So I'm super excited it's just a lot of work. So it's going to be a lot of footage.
It's going to be a lot of footage, but it's going to be well worth it, man.
Yeah.
So before we slide into the gag reels, you want to tell everybody where they can find you on your socials?
Yeah, well, you can find me on Facebook. I mean, I'm on everything. Facebook, CJ Vecchio, Instagram, Twitter. Evil 3 has his own Facebook page. The big one I'm working on right now is the Chicago Horror Film Festival. That's Chicago Horror on Instagram and Twitter. So I'm out there. You just Google my name. You'll find me. So, although I am not the CJ Vecchio that wrote the kids' book. There is a CJ Vecchio, so I gotta, I'm like, whoa, that's kind of creepy, but it's not me. So I gotta hammer my SEO to boop that guy to page 2 on Google.
Yeah, no doubt you do. You know what? Speaking of being in Chicago, if you don't already know him, I got to introduce you to my good guy up there, Ben Schatzel. He's been in a few things, trauma related. He did his own short not long ago called Remission. Fun guy, talented, very
Awesome player.
helpful. Yeah, and you may very well know him, but yeah, I'll link you up. But yeah, guys, listen, that's going to do it for this episode of Slasher Sports Cinema. I want to thank you, CJ Vecchio, for giving me some of your time tonight.
Awesome.
Bravo to you and all the work you're doing. Now, jump into the episode description and find the links to CJ's profile and his films. And as always, go forth and may you drink the blood of your enemies from the skulls of their children.
Nice. Like it.